Hello, good evening. It is Saturday night. It is 10:30 Central European time, and this is the MGP final review. Yeah, crowd goes wild. Look at my family. I'm so excited to be here. Now, we have for the last couple of hours been watching MGP. Did you get the winner right? Did you predict the top two? If you say you did predict the top two, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to say I think you're lying, most of you. Especially given what some of you guys put in the chat room last week as well. Tonight, we're going to be breaking it all down and assessing the chances of, hashtag spoilers, Subwoolfer's chances in Eurovision 2022. Yes, give that wolf a banana, because they made it. Joining me, as always, we've got my co-host. It's the lovely Stu. Good evening, Stu.
Good evening, Tom. I'm not sure I've ever seen you as animated at the start of a show as I just have. Have you been taking your vitamins and, most importantly, eating your bananas, Tom?
Obviously. I had banana and chocolate pancakes for dessert tonight.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Make sure you save one or two for that wolf of yours.
Obviously. Also, joining me on the panel this evening, we've got Thomas. Good evening, Thomas.
Good evening, guys. Shoot that wolf.
We've also got, accompanied by Jim and Keith, is the lovely Joe.
Hello, what was that? Shoot the wolf? No, definitely not. They're really happy tonight, I have you know. Very happy.
Hey. Also, we've got Sean. Evening, Sean.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
Hey. And also joining us, it's Gustav.
I'm unmuted, right? Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. I got my invitation to this party like 5 minutes before we started, so don't listen to anything I have to say. Okay.
But we value your input. We know this. We've managed to tear you away from Sweden from one night only just to talk about Norway. Guys, don't forget, keep your comments coming in the chat room. We would love to hear from you. We want your views on all 10 performances in tonight's Melodi Grand Prix. We want to know what your top 4 was, what your top 2 was, and also whether you think Subwoolfer is going to make a big splash in Turin in May. Oh, so excited. Anyway, right, guys, let's kick off. Obviously, 10 performances tonight. I could go through all 10, but do you know what? Let's not be here all evening. Let's dive straight in. Sean, what were your 3 standout performances of tonight? And
just
why?
3? Oh, you're so
Just
mean.
3.
Oh, well, first of all, it was going to be my top 3, but very disappointed at Maria Mohn and Fly. I was so heartbroken that she sounded really weak right at the beginning, and she was struggling quite a bit with the big notes. She was off key quite a bit, and I was gutted because that was my second favorite going into this, but I'm afraid not tonight for me. Hammer of Thor, however, that wasn't in my top 3, is in my top 3 tonight because she has got a great voice. There was amazing lighting. That big tunnel of fog looks stunning. The cut scenes into the storms and the rain and the clouds, and just it all led to a really polished, impressive performance. Vocally, she was amazing. I just wish just right at the end, could she not have just lifted up the hammer of Thor in victory or something like that? Because it was still missing. It still was nowhere to be seen, even though she apparently stole it. Just that at the end, and I've been really, really happy. So definitely that one. Christian and Wonder of the World. I mean, again, not in my top three, and my partner Ian hates it, really hates it, but he really does. The first few lines, you think that could be an Elton John track from the late 70s, early 80s, and it's just a really strong song. And the way that they set it on the raised piano with the light box underneath and the light shining through and the dry ice and the light, it's stunning. It really is a stunning performance. And I was surprised that it wasn't even in the top four. But of course, it's got to be Subwoolfer's Night. I've been championing them from day one. I think it's an epic song. I think it will do very, very well in Turin in May. Definitely. It's just so catchy. It's outrageous. I like the fact that they've changed the backing dancers' outfits this time around from were they like silver robotic kind of droid-esque costumes first time around, weren't they? And now they look like the yellow minions or whatever with black bow ties on. I just think it really goes well with the performance. It was just off the scale tonight and nail biting at the end because NorthKid were nowhere on my radar at all. And I thought they might do a Tix from last year where they thought, oh no, do they have a massive fandom like Tix does? And I thought they're going to nick it, but thank God they didn't. And Subwoolfer ramped on with victory. Love it. Absolutely love it. It's very appealing.
Oh dear, oh dear. Are we going to get fed up with your puns this evening? I do have to ask myself. Might have to get Sparkles the giraffe out just to keep you in line. Now, Thomas, was NorthKid on your top performances this evening? Was it in your top three?
No, it wasn't. I actually thought they were better this time than they were in the original heat. I actually think he's a bit weak when in the low keys. The chorus is good, but no, I haven't got it in the top three. Definitely not. If I have to pick my top three of the night, I have to go to my guilty pleasure this evening. Christian, wow, amazing. I have to go with Sofie, Made of Glass. And then I also have a soft spot for Oda with Hammer of Thor. I like the lyrics. I like to interpret the lyrics.
I think we've lost him. I think Tom's gone.
Somewhere.
Oh, he's back.
No,
See?
I was so looking forward to taking the piss out of you then.
See? It's not my fault the whole area is still having some issues following a certain visit from Eunice yesterday. Although I'll be honest, Thomas, I didn't hear half of what you said because so I have no idea.
It wasn't very clever, so don't mind it.
I heard Christian. I think that was about it. Tell you what, let's just move on by, and I'll come back to you again in a minute. Gustav, obviously you've been listening to some of these songs throughout. There were some good ballads in there. Were they in your top four this evening?
Indeed. My top three was Sofie at number 3. I think that song is absolutely stunning, and I loved her voice as well. And then we actually, in second place, I actually had Subwoolfer, and I'm like, it's so stupid.
What have we done to you? What
I don't
have
know.
we done to you? It's taken
I have
3
no
years.
idea. On another show, someone asked what happened to my music taste, and let's be honest, I have no idea. But it's so stupid and it's so much fun, and I like this performance much better than I like the performance in their semifinal. I don't think anyone will be surprised by my number 1. It was, of course, Elsie Bay and the amazing song Death of Us. I think this was such a glow up from the semi-final performance. I had goosebumps all over my body when she sang, and she got a little bit robbed. I have to be honest.
Do you know what? And I'd like to roll with that for a second, because I do think it's worthy of discussion. Because when we had show one, when we came in for show one, Elsie Bay was the automatic qualifier, and everyone was touting her for the win. She was the favourite for the win. Even on the polls, right up until this evening, on a lot of them, she was right up there. She was going to be the one to go and represent Norway in Turin, and yet she didn't actually make the top two. She made the top four, but she didn't quite make the top two. Stu, what do you think went wrong?
It's hard to break this one down, actually. So, first of all, I don't know what's happened this season, but me and Gustav seem to be channeling some form of new energy, because we're agreeing on almost everything. It's weird. It's getting really, really strange, Gustav. We're going to have to talk offline about what's going on here. But I don't know. I thought her performance tonight was just absolutely stunning. I thought her vocal was stunning. She looks stunning, and I thought the actual staging was way better than in Heat 1. So I don't know, because it's such a popular song. But I think what's happening in Norway is every year now we're seeing a favourite, a commercial band or artiste or whatever, come up through and are automatically making that final four, or final two in this instance, same as last year, out of nowhere. And the question is it deserved? Now, NorthKid are a very popular band. Tix is a very popular singer in Norway. But was Tix the right choice for Norway last year? From a personal perspective, no. And the result in the final suggests that was also the wrong choice. And NorthKid would have been the wrong choice tonight. Thankfully, this year, Norway chose the right song. And in the end, it wasn't close. It was very, very in favour of Subwoolfer. But I don't know. I don't know why she didn't make the top two. I hope, fingers crossed, that it was very, very close, Tom. Because I'm a massive fan, and I think she's a very, very special lady, actually, with a phenomenal voice.
Although I will say this: when they put Witchwoods on, a clip of Witchwoods on before she performed Death of Us, just to say, look, she had a hand in this last year. I have to say, I was like, and wouldn't it have been so much better if she was singing Witchwoods in the final? I'm just, just saying, I think it's dangerous sometimes in those types of situations where you play clips of past songs that they've come up with, because I think you get comparisons made between what they've done and then what you've got, if that makes sense. Because would people have, and I'm just playing devil's advocate here, who shall I pick on? Let's pick on Joe to do devil's advocate with on this as well. Do you think that people listen in those types of terms and actually go, well, she produced this last year, so this doesn't sound the same or as good or whatever?
I don't know. I mean, I think for me, I don't. I mean, personally, I just thought I just don't like her voice, and I didn't like the song, and I don't like the way she sings. I can't get female singers who have this. There's a specific voice. I mean, Victoria was the same as well, and in a way as well, like this sort of fake, slight British accent that seems to be hanging around with some singers again this year in different national finals. I hate it. I absolutely detested her voice. So for me, I don't, I think Emmy was the right person to sing Witchwoods, and I thought that was a brilliant song. And I do wonder if she'd have done better with Hammer of Thor, to be fair. But again, I don't know. I think it might just be the ballad thing that I don't like with those voices. So it's a difficult one, really. I think it's subjective, isn't it, love? Subjective.
It is subjective, but I thought it was worth mentioning. Now, guys, I've got a flavour for your favourites here, but I can't help but feel you've left some songs behind. the likes of Queen Bees, the likes of Black Flowers, and even the much favoured at one point Farida with Dangerous. Why do we think? In actual fact, let's just go with the what did we think of those performances? Do we think they were ever in danger of actually making the top 4? Are there, we talk about the obvious ones that were robbed, but what about those 3? Let's go to Sean, first of all.
Hello. Oh, God. Really? Dangerous, Farida. I mean, it's a lovely song, but I'm not sure about the dancing violinists. That was really off-putting. They had 4 dancing violinists, didn't they? I mean, they could have had something really classy. They could have had a couple of contemporary dancers and a couple of violinists. And I think it wouldn't have come across as distracting as it was. I think it took away from what is actually quite a good song, a little bit Bond-esque. So it was a shame that, such a shame. What were the other ones you wanted to talk about?
Well, we've got Frode and Black Flower.
Oh, Black Flower. No. Oh, sorry, Queen Bees. What a pile of stinking shit. I'm sorry.
Not your favourite then?
Not my favorite. It's awful. The song, the costumes look like someone's been rummaging in a tip, in a skip at the back of a fancy dress shop. The dance routine, the weird facial expressions. It looked like she needed sectioning as far as I'm concerned. It was shit. They can buzz off. Crap. Sorry.
Fair enough. Joe, Frode was one of your favourites, wasn't he? I mean,
originally, yeah, absolutely, yeah. And during the heat, yeah. But he's
were you disappointed in it tonight, or
I was.
stand up against the others?
Yeah, because what it was is I thought he had a few bum notes, and I quite like that song. I just didn't think he sang it as well as he did in the heats, and it's a shame really, because I thought I didn't think it'd ever get through. You know they always say that like final fillers and stuff, and you knew which ones were final fillers, and that was one of them. But at the same time, I expected him to have performed it slightly better, but I just didn't think he sang it as well, unfortunately. And I still think the right 4 got through in the end, although maybe Christian instead. In fact, definitely Christian instead of Elsie, I think. So at the end of the day, that's the only one for me that didn't. That was a bit
good job.
disappointing.
You and
Gustav
are separate this evening.
We still love each other, but
when you turfed Elsie out of that top 4.
Turf her out.
It's interesting, isn't it? Final point on this. I'm just going to go to Stu, because I know, Stu, we joke about you chucking 10 quid on certain songs, but Farida was one of your highlights during the heats. What do you think went wrong? Could she have done any more this evening? Do you reckon it was a close run thing for her?
No, I think it was a case of Elsie Bay and Farida cancelling, or one of them cancelling the other one out. I think it was just that simple. There's 2 very similar type ballads. Elsie Bay's was better, and I think it was as simple as that. No other reason. Both great songs, and to be honest, I think Farida probably was quite close to qualifying for the top 4. You could argue the same with Christian Ingebrigtsen. Great ballad. But when you have 3 or 4 ballads, we saw it last year, by the way. This is not the first time this has happened. You end up with one going through to the final 4. You then tend to sort of get what we saw tonight. You very rarely get more than one ballad in the top 4 of 10 songs. It just doesn't seem to work. You only get one outstanding ballad, and we saw that tonight. Elsie Bay's was the best ballad for me, without question. Others will probably disagree.
I quite liked Hammer of Thor, personally. I don't know whether you describe that as a ballad, though. That's the only thing.
It's not a ballad.
No.
I'm not sure what it is, actually.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. Thomas, what do you think? Hammer of Thor, what music style would you put that as?
In the category great song. I think if you go a little bit deeper in the lyrics, I actually think it's a very good song. For me, the song is about women overtaking men's authority, men's power in society. She actually sings in one place. They think they are in control, but then I take the hammer of Thor. The hammer of Thor represents for me the man power in society, and she thinks about the female taking over the man's empowerment in society, in business life, maybe. So if you dig a little bit deeper, I actually think Hammer of Thor is a very good song, and for me, it deserves a place in the final four.
Do you know what? Well said. I couldn't have put it better myself, because I would have put Oda in the top four this evening as well. And I know from speaking to Sean probably would have thrown Oda into the top four tonight, even though it wasn't necessarily there originally. So let's kind of cut around the fluff here. NorthKid and Subwoolfer made it to the top two. Obviously, it was Sofie and Elsie that made it through to the top four. Panel, I have one very simple question for you before we go on to a more in-depth discussion about NorthKid and Subwoolfer. Did those four songs deserve to make it to the top four, or are you going to do a Joe and swap songs out? Tough choices. And people in the chat room, please do keep your comments coming. I'd love to know what your top four was this evening as well, and whether it made. Yes, James, we said Hammer of Thor, not Hammered by Thor. Now, Thomas, what were your top four? Would you have altered the top four this evening? Would you have swapped some out? What would you have done?
I'll swap NorthKid with Christian Ingebrigtsen.
Okay, interesting. Joe, anything other than taking out Elsie and replacing her with Christian?
No, that would have been my fault, because I love Sofie, and obviously I love the Wolves.
Hey. Sean, what about you?
I'd have dumped Elsie Bay. Sorry, I'd have dumped it. It's that, like Joe said, the twang that people put on, the Englishy kind of accent. I mentioned it I think it was in the Melfest show last week. It really gets on my tits. I can't stand it, and it's an immediate switch off for me on any song. So I'd switch that one out, and I would put Mariamon back in, even though she was a little bit out of key, definitely. And as far as NorthKid are concerned, no, I just didn't get it. I thought it was a bit of a yawn fest. I really don't understand why it was chosen to pre-qualify. Are they massive? Are they big in Norway or something, NorthKid?
Yeah.
Because,
yeah.
Right, I mean, there you go. It's one of those. But yeah, Hammer of Thor again, a really good song. And yeah, so either that or Wonder of the World would take its place for me.
Okay. Gustav, what about you?
Actually, the top four is actually my top four. So I was very happy with it. Obviously, I would have changed the top two, and I would have changed it with. So NorthKid went to top four, and Elsie top two. But this was my top four, so I was very, very happy.
Don't tell Elliot. He's at a housewarming party tonight, but don't tell him. He was being smug about having done a hat trick about things that would go to the top, go through the heats. I think the idea of someone actually predicting the top four correctly just kind of blow his mind a bit.
Tom, don't out Elliot like that. James is in the chat room. Sorry, James. Not sorry.
Steve, what about you?
I don't know what is going on. This obviously somehow this planet is rotating at too fast a pace, because I agree with Gustav again. I think these top four were absolutely the right top four. I think Farida and Krista Ingebrigtsen probably narrowly missed out. I don't think anything else was worthy of top four, in my opinion. I could go on a rant about how Norway promised us better than 2021, and it was woeful in comparison. I think in general, there were, I think, 4 songs that could do well at Eurovision, and it were the 4 that were in the top 4. And I also want to make a point of, if Norway are going to continue with this format, which is fine, it's Norway's prerogative. I always say this: Norway, every country should choose a song they want to send, not what the fans want, what they want to send. But I do think we're now in the second year of this new format, and we've got 2 songs that were direct qualifiers in the final 2 again. Second year running, 3 in the final 4. So what's the point of these qualifiers? You know, I think Norway really needs to look at this and decide whether it's sustainable, because for me, I think it makes a mockery of the competition if you could have your direct qualifiers. You may just have 5 in the final and forget everything else.
That's a good point. I mean, let's open it up to other people. Joe, would you just say, chuck your automatic qualifiers through and just make a final out of them, or would you force them to go through the heats like everything else?
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I mean, I think they ought to really all have no automatic qualifiers and have everyone in heats. Maybe put an extra person in each heat. I mean, I suppose that doesn't really work well for duels, but they could find another format, couldn't they? It is interesting. It's a very interesting concept. I like the fact that they have the duels. I like the fact that they do it the way they do it, but it's absolutely spot on. It seems to be that direct qualifiers do get through, and there is some. I think the quality was just as good as last year, between you and me. So it's a difficult one, really, isn't it? And one maybe that Stig has to go and sit down and have a think about as to how it might change. I mean, I think the only thing I would say from a point of view, the show tonight was really good because there was far fewer fillers, because there's obviously a lot to do. But I think in the semis there tends to be a lot of these comedy fillers that I don't think is always needed, I think is the word. I do like the presenters though, but it's a difficult one, really. I think maybe less comedy fillers would help.
True. I mean, Gustav, would you be a fan if they kind of went along and stole more of the Melody Festival and format?
No, because that's our thing, not theirs. You have to come up with your own thing.
I mean, you've shaken it up this year, so there's
yes,
part of the format going begging here.
I'm not happy about that either. I don't like change, okay? I don't know what they should do, but I know that they should not have the automatic qualifiers, because clearly it's not working out for them.
Yeah, no, go along with that. And Thomas, let's just get your view on that as well.
I actually totally agree. If you have 2 years when the top 2 is direct qualifiers, NRK could just make one big final with 5 or 6, 8 contestants who have they picked out, and then have one great show. I like to have several heats. Then you have something to watch. But when the automatic qualifiers are already in the gold duel, why drag this out into 5-6 weeks? Why not just have one huge grand final with fireworks, glitter, the whole shebang, one night?
It's a good point. It's a good point. Although that would deprive us of our 6 weeks worth of content. Just far be it for me to be slightly selfish on that point. Steve, let's come back to you, because you wanted the right reply on some of this.
Yeah, so I actually think it has worked out for NRK, and I just want to pick up on I can never pronounce it. I'm just going to say WIVM. Sorry, I'm sure there's a way you pronounce that. Oh no, it's the wrong one. Here we go. Apologies. In the end, NRK also have to make TV. There they do. And actually, I think it's worked out for them, and I assume that the automatic qualifiers are there for more than just the fact that they're a good song. I'm sure there's some other reasons that they are direct qualifiers. And for them, it's working out because they're in the top final 2 years running, and no doubt the other 2 were close to qualifying, or at least there or thereabouts. You had 3 out of the 4. So I think in terms of the direct qualification, it's working out for those who are direct qualifiers. My point would be, do we need to sit through 5 weeks of songs which, maybe are not so good? And do the Norwegian public need to do that? They can. Of course they can. Done it 2 years running. But does it make sense long term? Probably not. And if you go back 2 years ago, 3 years ago even, or maybe, is it 3 years? God, we've been in COVID for so long. What was Kano with 2019, weren't they? 3 years.
Yeah.
So that was 10 songs, and that was a very strong national final if we cast our minds back to then. I don't think you need to run this format in the current format in the way NRK wants to run it. Just run 10 songs, or run it over 2 nights, 2 semi-finals and a final or whatever. But I think to play it the way they are, where you've got these duels and you've got ultimately songs which are really not that great and not up to scratch along the way, I don't see the point of it. Just my point of view. I really welcome Norwegians' point of view as to whether they've enjoyed the format, whether they think that it should continue. Leave us a comment in the chat, please, people, and certainly on the comments part of this video.
It's the balance, though, as you said, because they've also got to make TV.
They have, yeah, exactly.
So it's also 6 weeks worth of TV sorted, isn't it? Saturday night prime time. And possibly they're getting a lot from international viewers like us who are tuning in as well. Now, guys, let's move on to the top 2. Obviously, it was NorthKid versus Subwoolfer. Perhaps, just as a lie detector test here, did anyone on this panel pick NorthKid as being in the top 2? Congratulations, you've all passed. You are clearly all trustworthy and honest this evening. Sean, let's come to you on NorthKid. Now,
Hi.
Gold Duel performance. NorthKid gets on the stage. They alter the first line, and instead we get, "Hey, how have you been? Did you ever go to Turin?"
And the answer would be no, wouldn't it? Sorry, NorthKid.
Now, no, the question is, do you think that was a bit too presumptuous?
A little bit smug, wasn't it? Do you think so?
Well,
Yeah.
This is what I'm suggesting to you. What did you think?
Well, I noticed it rather, right away, and I thought, well, hang on a minute. You've not got there yet, and I just thought, no, it's a little bit too cocky. Did it backfire on them? Possibly. I'm a fan of the song, as you know, to be honest. I just thought it was a little bit boring. I don't even really know why it was chosen to pre-qualify, because I think there were much stronger songs in the competition that maybe, if they are going down the pre-qualification route, could have been chosen for that slot. But that's all I've really got to say on the matter. I was kind of hoping for a curtain fail again. To liven things up a bit.
Never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
Thomas, why do you reckon this song actually appealed so much in the end?
Maybe because they're big in Norway. I don't actually get the song quite that much, as the only partly good thing I think about this song, it takes me a little bit back to 2018 to Germany, Michel Schulze, because I think they have a bit of the same family vibe in it. That's mainly the only good thing I have to say about the song. I don't think he is the best singer, not in the low keys. In the Gold Duel, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Subwoolfer was my favorite.
Can you just say that one more time for the people at the back as well, Thomas? Just like.
Subwoolfer was my favorite.
Hey! Gustav, let's go to you as well, because obviously I know you said NorthKid were quite popular there. Do you think it was a case of they got through to the Gold Duel more for who they were than rather what they were singing?
It might be because of that, or it might be because the guy playing the drums is really, really cute. I don't know. Who knows?
So now we're working out why this made it into your top 4. I like this. Peeling back the layers.
Anyway, I'm not gonna lie, there was a part when they were getting the votes that I was kind of hoping that NorthKid would win, because it's not a bad song. It's really not. And it would have been fun if Subwoolfer didn't win, because of everyone saying that it would win. But that might just be me. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, we had a Tix moment last year, didn't we? Where everyone, certainly in the Eurovision fan community, wanted Kano to win. And you had Tix, and Tix won, and people were quite upset about that. Sean, I'm looking at you because I know you were, in particular, quite upset. And it did look like we were heading towards that kind of moment. Let's go to Sean on this. Actually, did you actually think history was going to repeat itself?
Yeah, I did. I thought, here we go again. I thought, oh no. But I mean, last year it was a particular kick in the teeth for me because I'm a big Kano fan, and I was so wanting him to do well and to win it, and yeah, I was absolutely gutted. Yeah, I thought it was going to be history repeating itself. Thankfully, it wasn't, because I think it was quite unanimous in the end, wasn't it? I think 368,000 votes to 312,000 or something like that. It was, quite overwhelming for Subwoolfer. And I'm really pleased for them. And yeah, I think they'll do really, really well. I think they'll do really well in Turin. Top 3. Sorry,
just as a small point, because Thomas or Gustav, you will know the geography better than me. Why was there one region that voted so kind of much for NorthKid over Subwoolfer compared to all the others?
Because they were from that part of Norway.
There we go. I knew someone would know. Anyway, the night, as we know, belonged to Subwoolfer. The wolf was given his banana, Grandma was saved, and they are walking off to Turin. Joe, understandably, you, like me, very, very happy with the result. What can we envisage for Turin?
Hopefully the same, just on a bigger stage with as much audience participation and engagement as they had tonight, which I think, you were saying about the fact that they performed better and what was the difference. It was a lot of it was audience engagement, and the fact that everyone virtually knows the words of that song in Norway. Everyone knows the dance. And I think if they keep at it, if they keep publicizing it, if they keep sort of just getting that audience engagement, then they seriously could they could smash it, couldn't they? We could be going to Oslo next year. I said that three programs ago, I think. So they're just going to be amazing. Either way, keep the same. Just do more of what they're doing. That's all they need to do.
Do you know what? Yeah, I think it's got TikTok potential, hasn't it? And I think this is what counts with the youth of today. In many ways. Stu, how much did you win on this? Because obviously you stick £10 on every song.
Well,
is the betting strong?
I think this is probably going down as one of those ones where it was always odds on to win, Tom. It's a phenomenon, is what it is. It has the ability to either win Eurovision, and I mean that, win Eurovision, because it could go viral between now and May, or it will crash and burn in Turin. It will do one of the two. It's not going to come Roop 8th. It's in my opinion, it's top 5, possibly winning Eurovision, or it's not going to qualify. And the last time I said it wouldn't qualify in Norway was Kano in 2019, and look how that turned out for me. So I think
that comment.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? I think this will go viral, and I have a friend in the chat who agrees with me. There you go. this will go viral too. And if it goes viral, by the time we get to May, the whole world will be doing this dance. We'll be wearing silly little alien-based wolf or minion costumes. And this will be all over TikTok. It will be all over other social platforms. Everyone in the world will know this song. It'll be played on every radio station. And when it gets to the stage in May, it will be the winner in the televote. I'm almost convinced of it. Put your money on it to win Eurovision, people. It's a decent bet right now. How about that, Tom? There you go.
Yeah.
And what will happen is everyone will put money on it now, and it won't win, and it will crash and burn, and I'll get the blame for it. It's what's going to happen.
What it means is you've just got your 10 quid back on Subwoolfer, but you can't keep a good gambler down because you're going to reinvest.
And we checked the odds. I guarantee it's number one in the odds right now. I'm going to go and do that while you talk to other guests.
Fair enough. Gustav, as the youngest person here, will we be seeing you on TikTok anytime soon doing the dance?
No one wants to see that.
I'd watch it.
Of course.
We'd give it a platform on here. For humour, obviously.
Absolutely.
Do you Stu's mentioned about how this could win the televote, this could go viral, so on and so forth. Televote's one thing. How do you see this playing out with the juries in Turin?
Not as good, I think. I think the juries will always go for the kind of songs that are well put together. This song is well put together, but it's also a joke. And I am not so sure about the televotes as either, because there is lining up quite a few joke entries in Eurovision so far. This is by far the best joke entry, but will it stand out as much when there are a bunch of joke entries in the Eurovision? I don't know, but this is the best one for sure.
This is true. I mean, let's go across to Thomas on this. I mean, obviously, give that wolf a banana in Norway, eat your salad in Latvia. I mean, is this part of Eurovision's healthy eating drive for 2022, or are there some proper competition? Is there some proper competition out there for the novelty act that could do really well this year?
As Gustav says, this is the far better one in the fun act category. I think Stuart is right. I think this one could definitely win the jury vote, but then I think the televote, sorry, but the jury will absolutely kill it. I think there will be as Kano in 19 that will win the televote, and the jury will kill it. I don't see it winning. I see him doing definitely well by the televote. I think people will love it. TikTok will overflow with this dance, but I don't think the jury will love it. I think they will crash and burn. Actually, sorry, Stu.
Oh, interesting words. Do you know what? I've totally lost count of how many times I've kind of gone around my panel at the moment. I think, Sean, have I actually come to you with your views on this yet?
I can't even remember what I had for my tea, to be honest. So,
do you know what? Pretend I haven't. We'll just go in for it. Fine.
You know what? Novelty acts can win Eurovision. I mean, there's an argument to say Toy Netta. You know, that was kind of a novelty act. You know, that was a storming. That was a global hit. You know, this could go viral. Like you said, Stu, definitely this could go global. This could be massive. As long as one big thing, they don't reveal themselves. As soon as they do that, or as soon as that secret's blown, it's probably game over. But yeah, keep that secret, keep it, keep it going, keep the momentum. And yeah, we could definitely have a winner here, definitely.
They're going to have to do a Mr. Lordy, aren't they, basically?
Yeah.
I mean, that is it. They're going to have to do a Mr. Lordy, and they're just going to have to keep their masks on. Yeah. I hope they've got some good freshener for those masks, as otherwise in that Italian heat, woo!
Oh, I know. they're going to pong. Just on that, don't forget Lordy spent 2 weeks walking around Athens in 32-degree heat in the same monster outfits. I mean, that takes some doing. I just hope that they'd invented Lynx Africa back then. My God. It must have absolutely stunk.
I don't know, Lynx Africa, they probably would have suffocated to death under that anyway.
Well, only the Lynx ones, whatever. But, you know, it was just, can you imagine stood next to them? There was very famously, do you remember Katrina from Katrina on the Waves said that she wore the same green top that when she won in 1997 for almost a week solid, and it absolutely hummed by the end of the week. Must have been stinky, not nice.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they did try to dress her up as a sofa, from what I recall. Anyway, guys, final thing. I'm going to hammer you down on this. You have some choices. You can say it will not qualify. You can say top 5, top 10, middle of the road, or bottom 6. Where will Subwoolfer place themselves come May? Final question. Don't forget to answer it in the chat room as well. Thomas, what do you think?
Middle of the scoreboard, because the jury vote will be 0 points.
Okay, mid-table mediocrity. Joe, what do you reckon?
Top 5, winner, chicken dinner.
Oh, well, I thought those wolves were vegetarian. Sean.
Top 5.
Top 5. Gustav.
Yes, this for Elsie Bay. No, I'm just kidding. Top 10.
Top 10 and Stu.
I think it'll be top 5. I don't agree that the jury won't give this votes. Sorry, Thomas. I think they will. And you only have to go back to the Roop last year to see that it's possible. And I agree with Netta, and I agree there's been some great comments in the chat, actually. Verka Saduchka is another great example. If you can do crazy, you don't want to do UK crazy. That's another level of crazy. But you can do crazy and make it work at Eurovision. It's a thing, BBC. Looking at you.
Oh, the UK still to announce their entry. That'll be interesting. Right. You heard it here first. I think we're in agreement. Subwoolfer could be looking at a top 10 placing in Turin in May, but there are still lots of songs to be selected. Yes, Norway may be done and dusted, but this is not the end. Tune in tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Central European time, where Stu will be taking over the reins and hosting as we go through Melodi Festival and Heat 3. And then, are we back again on Monday, Stu, as well?
We are indeed, yes. Sorry for anyone who was waiting for us last night for Finland's UMK preview. We will get to that on Monday. Storm Eunice and everything. We just felt it was probably best to delay it so everyone could be safe. I'm sure you'll agree that was the right decision. Come and join us Monday night, and then at some point on Wednesday, we will have a little special thing for you that we're not going to tell you about. We're just going to post it online and then see if you find it. Check it out. Another live, well, not a live show, but another show for you coming Wednesday next week as a bit of a special.
Hey, lots of spoilers coming, yes. And as for UMK, let's face it, we were that blown away by the choices. We had to do it another day. Right. Shima's clearly not landing. Right. Guys, I would like to say a big thank you to my panel this evening. Massive thanks to Thomas.
Thank you, guys, and thank you, Norway, for a great couple of weeks.
Hey, massive thanks to Joe.
Bye, everyone. Can't believe Norway's over, but Jim and Keith say bye.
Hey, big thanks to Sean.
Oh yeah, it's all over, but only Norway. So we've got lots more to look forward to. Congratulations to Subwoolfer, and now it's time to banana split.
Hey, big thanks to Gustav.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Yes, we'll get your views on Melfest very soon, I am sure. And also, as always, a big thanks to my co-host. It's a lovely Stu.
Thanks, Tom. 26-1, Norway to win Eurovision. Go and place your bets now, people. We will see you here tomorrow night for Melfest Sunday. I cannot wait.
Yeah, and thanks to everyone that's been contributing in the conversation in the chat room as well. If you are watching this on catch up, it's not a case of missed out. Leave a comment, like or dislike, subscribe. You can check out all the amazing content we've got to come over the next few weeks and months. Also, don't forget to keep the conversation going on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Yes, we are everywhere on social media, chattering away as well. We'll see you 9 o'clock Central European time tomorrow night for our Melfest Heat 3 review. Until then, it's bye for now. Bye-bye.